What's up guys, Jeff with Top Star Mobile Detailing, Las Vegas. In today's video, we're gonna be going over the details that you wanna pay attention to, right? It's paying attention to these small details that the small details are gonna pay you, right? So it's important to focus on these little things as a professional detailer. We're gonna walk you through just some of the things on this particular vehicle that you wanna keep your eyes out for, pay attention to, and make sure that you're not missing as a new detailer coming into the business. Okay, so what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna start off with the exterior of the vehicle. We're gonna go around the perimeter of the vehicle, show you some of the things that you shouldn't miss on that before we dive into the interior. That being said, we're gonna turn it over to my man Anthony here just to kind of show you what's the first thing since we're at the front of the vehicle. So first thing that we're gonna point out is you might notice this has all the honeycomb here up in the front, all these little like crevices up here. This can be very difficult to get into with an actual wash mitt, right? Like you're not gonna wanna sit here and get your finger into all these little honeycombs. It's gonna take you forever. So they actually have a brush designed for this called the curveball brush. Anthony's just showing you here, like dry method, obviously you'd be using this with soap and foam, but just how it gets in all the little cracks, these honeycombs here. So good to have one of these. If you don't have that particular brush, you could also do it with, we've got, where is it here? You could probably do it with these. It's gonna take you a lot longer, obviously, to be getting in all the little cracks and crevices with this. So you can cover a lot more surface area using the curveball. So we picked that up a while back and we've been loving it so far. Let me know, do you guys use that in your business, or what do you use for this type of stuff for the grill up front? As we move around the vehicle, we're on the side of the vehicle now. One thing I want to point out, this is something that actually happened to me as a new detailer when I was first coming into the business. You have to be very careful with vehicles that have punch codes on the door like this. A lot of Ford vehicles are gonna have these. And what it's designed for is, it's designed so that you could leave your keys in the car, say you're going to the gym or something like that. You can close this and lock it, and then when you come back out, put in the punch code to reopen the door, right? What you wanna be very careful of is you don't leave the keys in the vehicle. So for example, like, if you leave the keys in the vehicle and you close this, it's closed. A lot of times, if you're washing this with the mitt or something like that, it can randomly lock. And if the person doesn't know the punch code to get in here, you're gonna have locked the keys in the vehicle. That actually happened to me early on in my detailing career. The lady had just got the car. She had no idea what the passcode was, and fortunately, her boyfriend had a spare set of keys, but lived about 45 minutes away, so it really put a crimp in the day and caused, you know, some delays with the rest of my details for the day. So just be mindful of this when you see this. I always like to keep the keys outside of the vehicle myself, either like inside the trailer or in my pocket somewhere where they're never gonna get locked in the vehicle. Could be a potential sales call here. Top Star Detailing, this is Jeff.
Hi, yes, I wanted to get some pricing from you.
Sure, could you tell me what type of vehicle you have and what you were looking to get done on it?
It's a Maverick truck.
Okay, yep.
And I'm lying, is that a Ford?
Ford, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yep.
Okay, and basically the inside's awful. It's my husband just got it for his company car, but it's like dog hair, smells, all that stuff.
Okay.
So what would that look like?
Are you looking to have anything done on the exterior as well, or just strictly interior detailing?
I mean, besides just a regular wash, I guess.
Okay. So does it have like staining and stuff that would need to be removed too on either the seats or carpets?
Not that he said no.
Okay.
More of the smell and the dirtiness.
Okay. So we have an express interior package. With that, with the exterior, interior, and pet hair removal, it would be $260 for the full detail, and that's gonna be like a vacuum out, wipe everything down, clean out all the cracks and crevices, get the pet hair out, hand wash the outside, we clean out the brake dust in the wheels, shine the tires, and then we put a protective sealant on there for you. Similar to a wax, but it's a ceramic-based product. It makes it really hydrophobic where the water just beads up, rolls right off. We put that on the paint and the glass for you. So it usually takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to complete that service.
And is that washing the fabric seats or no?
So that's going to be a wipe down of the fabric seats. We would spray it down with like an interior cleaner and then wipe it down. If it needs steam cleaning and shampoo, like that's why I was asking if there was any type of like staining, then that would require steam and shampoo to get that out. That would add on probably another 90 minutes to 2 hours to the service. And it is a little bit more money for that package.
Okay, how much would that package be? So I can let them
with the steam cleaning and shampoo, it jumps up to $390 from $260.
$390. Okay, and then would you guys, do you have availability today at all?
Does it have to be today, or are you flexible with the time on it? Because I know we have availability tomorrow. We're pretty stacked up today already.
Okay. Okay, let me call him and then I can give you guys a call back.
Okay, yeah, as of right now, it looks like we've got some availability kind of like before noon tomorrow, but the slots usually fill up pretty quick. So if it's something that he wants to lock in, just let me know so we can add you to the schedule before that slot fills in.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All
so
right,
much.
thank you, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, so we'll see how that one goes. We did give them both quotes for the Express as well as the Executive Interior. I was kind of having a little trouble reading them because it sounded like that she needed steam cleaning, but was saying that there's no heavy staining or anything like that too. So, you know, we'll see where it goes with that. Maybe they call back and book, but we're stacked up for today, so we really can't fit them in. And we got to go pick up our van today from the wrap place. So anyways, let's jump back into the video. Okay, so as we move around the vehicle, Anthony, what's another thing that you as a new detailer, I know you've been doing this a couple months now, but when you first started, what was something that you felt that you were missing from this section of the vehicle?
Yeah, so the main thing that I would miss right here would always be the side step. Just making sure we clean this, the face, and then also these little hooks where it actually attaches to the truck itself. Now that I know to hit it, we usually like to hit it at the same time we're doing the wheels, because you got the wheel bucket out and we just use the same brushes as that.
On this particular vehicle, the client has, it's like a sticker that goes down the side. I don't know if Quorum, you can zoom in on this, but it's not one piece. It's actually all segmented out. When you're dealing with stickers like this, you want to be really, really careful, because all these little edges of the sticker, these little corners, there's a few different reasons. You have to be careful with the pressure washer, because if the pressure washer gets that, it's going to lift it up and pull that sticker right off. You also have to be very careful with the wash mitts on these, because even a wash mitt, if you're dragging that back and forth, it can catch these little ends like this, the corners, and just peel that back, and it's not going to look the same afterwards. When you're drying the vehicle, I would recommend using an air dryer. If you have one, we have a blow tool that we use. We actually just ordered the Ego blower as well. We're going to be getting that next week and do a review on that for you too. But if you have access to like an air dryer, you could use that. Again, just don't get too close. Even with the air dryer, if it's a high pressure dryer, you don't want that to catch any of the edges. If you're using a towel, very light pressure, soft pressure. You know, I would be very careful again on the edges. Don't swirl or anything like that, because the last thing you want to do is screw up a sticker like this. It's going to be very costly to fix that or to replace that sticker. So be mindful of that, guys. As we move around the exterior of the vehicle, there's actually a lot of things in this area that can get overlooked and can get missed, right? I would say probably one of the things that stands out for me is this arch here in the wheel well. These are usually like really, really dirty. You can see how black that one is. So you want to make sure that we keep this mitt in the wheel bucket. This isn't one of the ones that we would use on the paint. The rest of the vehicle is designated for wheels. But after you spray the vehicle with whatever product you're using to clean the wheels, you want to get the arch all the way around, right? Otherwise, you're going to clean everything up and the client's going to see this. Hold on one sec, this could be a sales call. I think it's a spammer. Top Star Detailing, this is Jeff. Hello? Spammy. Fuckers. All right, back to it. So, picking up where we left off, you want to make sure you get this whole arch on the wheel. What's another thing that you would notice here, Anthony, that potentially gets overlooked?
Yeah, so I immediately noticed these little grooves, these little holes right here. There's a lot of them, so it is annoying, but they're small, so we got to take a little rag like this, really put our finger in there and make sure we get rid of all that brake dust in each and every single hole.
This would be, of course, actually with product. We're not doing this dry like you see here. We would be spraying this down with a wheel cleaner before you do that, but it is pretty intricate. You have all of these small holes here, as well as the larger holes here that you have to get. What's one more thing here in the wheel section, Anthony, before we move on?
Yeah, I would always make sure to hit the wheel wells, especially on off-roading trucks like this. They get pretty dirty. So just making sure you rinse them off with a pressure washer and then hitting them with just a little product to get that dirt off.
Yeah, super important. Even the tops of the shocks here in the back, just those little details that you want to kind of be mindful of and pay attention to, because if you miss that, the rest of the vehicle is going to look nice and clean and shiny at the end. And when you're looking through to this in certain angles, you're gonna see the dirt in the corners and it's gonna stand out like a sore thumb. And what you don't wanna have to do is go back later on in the detail after you've cleaned the vehicle and have to get in here with a rag and a towel and try to clean it. It's so much faster to do it during the process of cleaning the wheels. So pay attention to those small little details as you move around the vehicle.
So guys, I want to cover a couple things in the driver area that I see a lot of detailers missing. Even detailers that have been doing this for years and years still miss these spots. If you want to come closer, Jeff, I'm going to hop up in here. The first thing that I always do is I look up, right? I see a bunch of scuff marks and like just kind of like dirt stains and stuff from people like hitting their hats or whatever. Some girls have a lot of makeup here because they do the makeup in the car. You don't really need to charge for like a headliner cleaning unless it's bad, right? But when there's stuff like this, literally it's so simple. You just take a microfiber that's wet, spray it down with some PNS. This is what we're using. I kind of like wrap it around my hand and I just scrub. It's super, super simple. It takes 2 seconds to scrub that dirt off and it makes the appearance of the vehicle so much better. When they get in and this is all clean, right? And then they look up and they're like, he missed the whole roof. It doesn't make for a very good review.
Especially on the lighter colored roofs, right?
Exactly.
Like when it's not black, if it's like that tan color or like a white roof.
And like, again, always make sure that you pull this down. There's a lot of times there's stains on here, dirt on here. So make sure you wipe this down, wipe the bottom of that down, all around in here, get the dirt out, and then make sure at the end you hit it with the glass cleaner and make sure that this mirror is clean. I mean, they just paid $300 for a detail. They go to look at themselves in the mirror and there's like grease all over the mirror. It's not a very good look. So
what about for some of the more stubborn stains on the headliners? Like I know they say, you know, don't use a steamer or anything like that because it can loosen the adhesive or the glue and cause it to fall. Yeah. Like what would you recommend for that specific case?
So I've done a lot of headliner cleanings, and honestly what's worked best for me is almost like a boar's hair brush or just a soft bristle brush. Spray it with the PNS, hit it with the brush, the certain spot, and you can see it coming out. So you can see when it's starting to loosen up. On like a lighter colored roof, if there's a black stain, I don't ever squirt the product on it. I always squirt it in here, and then I just sit there and I work it, man. And 99% of the time it works. There's always that 1% when it's like, I don't know, blood or oil and it just will not come out. At that point, I usually tell the client, look, I tried my best to get this out. If I go any harder, I could risk damaging the headliner, and I don't want to do that. So I usually just opt out of it.
So Quorum, have you ever tried like the Scrub Ninja sometimes for some of those hard to, you know, get out stains?
No, I usually stick to the actual like detailing brushes.
Okay. I mean, I've used the Scrub Ninjas a couple times and they work well also, so another option for you guys.
Okay, yeah, I mean, whatever just has like that coarse softness that you can get it out with a brush, a Scrub Ninja, anything like that. You just want to avoid like very stiff bristles on the roof because it could actually damage the fabric. So as long as it's soft, you're good to go.
That makes sense.
All right. Okay. So another thing that I notice a lot of detailers miss is like they come into the drivers and they start wiping this down, wipe all the faces down, get the dash, get the vents, whatever right here. But something that people see is the dirt that's behind the actual steering column. So what I like to do is I like to take my microfiber and like floss it. So I stick it in there and I literally just scrub it and floss it like that around the whole entire edge to get that dirt out, right? Another thing is pulling this down. So on this specific model, it's a button, but a lot of times it's like a lever. So hold that button down all the way. You see all those crumbs in there in the back with the leather. Get in there, wipe that out, double check it, make sure there's nothing left. Get that in there, raise that back all the way up like this. And then down here as well. So stick your finger in there with the microfiber. Make sure that you scrub that out as well. It's just these little details, guys, that are gonna go a long way with your clients. They're gonna notice, wow, he actually went the extra mile and cleaned everything up here instead of just giving it a quick wipe down. Another thing that I see a ton of people missing, which blows my mind, but is right here. Anthony, come over here. Is right here. So when you get out of the car, your foot hits that a lot, right? You kick it. It's gonna track a lot of dirt. So actually getting in right here all the way up. And even in some cases, sticking a brush in there and getting all of the dirt out of that. Not all cars have that, but when they do. And also this. If you get into a clean car and then you look down to put your foot on the brake and you see all this dirt in here, you're like, ah. So it's definitely gonna be something you wanna make sure that you're doing every single detail. And it doesn't take long.
One thing before we move on to the rest of the vehicle too, when Quorum was talking about flossing this part back here, right? So he was mentioning flossing this here. I also like to floss in this little piece here too. There's another piece behind the wheel right here. You can see the towel kind of just get behind that and floss in there, right? And then you can drag this around almost like an actual piece of floss, right? And then you're just flossing this whole piece like that, and it gets all the grime build out from behind that there. So you can see how that just fits in there like that. You could use a brush for this as well too, but the floss technique works fairly well on this as well. So another area that, you know, a lot of detailers miss. I know when I was first starting, it was one of those things that maybe I didn't catch all the time. So be mindful of that little section as well.
Yeah.
So before we move on to the back of the vehicle, we're just going to point out a couple more things. Anthony, what's maybe a couple other things that you missed as a new detailer coming in that maybe we had to go over a couple different times before it started to click with you and you started to remember?
Yeah, so just these small little details that are kind of far away from the rest of the interior. Kind of this little carpet nipple where the mats of the car clip into. This whole section right here, you have to make sure you can't miss that. And then right in here, the rails of where the seat moves back and forward. You can't get too far in there because that's the grease that the seat needs to move back and forth. But just on the edges with a detail brush, hitting all the like built up residue, making sure you get it out, making sure that part's clean.
Last thing before we move on to the back section is there's a little crack that goes around the emblem here, the logo. These tend to get filled up. I don't know if you can see the little crumbs. Sometimes they get rocks and stuff in there. A lot of times you can clean them out with these type of brushes, you know, when you're cleaning them with product. But occasionally there'll be like little pebbles, sands, things like that that get stuck in there where you're gonna need something like a little crevice tool, right? Or maybe like a plastic one or like that, where you can get these down into the cracks to like actually pick this stuff out like that. You can see it kind of like pull it out. Or you're gonna want a stiff bristle brush like this one here. You can get this, and this is like a harder bristle brush. where you can get those in the cracks and really work that as well.
Oh, that's a cool brush, man. Where'd you get it?
Get this at the Cracker Barrel. You would have never expected to find this at the Cracker Barrel, but I was having breakfast there, and while I was waiting to pay the bill, I happened to look over and I was like, that's a cool ass brush, man. I'm like, I need that brush. This is actually great for cup holders too, because you can get in circular like that, so it's doing the sides and the bottom and the little corners.
Isn't that thing made for like cast iron pans to clean them or something?
I have no idea what it's actually made for, but I'll tell you what, it comes in handy as a detailing brush. So Cracker Barrel, if you guys go to breakfast, pick up a little brush at the Cracker Barrel. You could also use a Tornador on this as well too. Sometimes if you get right up on this with the Tornador, that will take a lot of that built up debris on there as well. So,
all right, boys and girls, so another thing that I see a lot of detailers miss, if you come over here, just on trucks, I know some SUVs have this feature, but if you pull your hand under here, this seat actually folds up, right? So there's a bunch of carpet under there as well with a bunch of crumbs in it. So when the person pulls this up to store something there, they're like, he missed all the crumbs there. So you're gonna wanna get that as well. And then just all of these plastics on the side where the truck is. So like here, 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 make sure you're hitting all of this. On doors like this that have scuff marks and stuff, I like to use the Ninja scrubber. Sometimes it takes the scuffs right off. Sometimes they're too deep in there and you can't get them out and it's actual damage to the plastic. But a lot of times the Scrub Ninja will actually get it out, which is really cool. So don't just use a little dinky brush on there. Get in there with the Scrub Ninja, scrub it down, make sure that you're doing the most. And that's pretty much it for things that people miss. You guys, as I'm looking over here, I noticed one thing that we actually forgot to mention was the gas cap. Now this is actually included on our list of things that we do on the website. It says gas cap cleaned, right? So if we forget that and they're like, hey, that's listed on your website, why'd you forget it? Really simple, man. Just open this while you're foaming it down. You can use that cue ball brush or a regular detailing brush, just kind of brush that out. Don't stick it in there, that's where the gas goes. You don't want to put the pressure washer up in there either, or else you're gonna have a really bad day. And then just spray that out, close it, and then when you're drying it, either blow it out, take a little towel, get that out, make sure that it's nice and clean. All right, guys, so one more thing that we forgot to mention about the interior is gonna be the sunroof. If you wanna come pan in, the actual material that the sunroof closes with is very similar to the headliner, but there's actually glass under here. So you wanna make sure you turn the vehicle on, get this all the way back. Sometimes it's not that dirty, but in the case that it is dirty, they're definitely gonna notice that. So you wanna make sure that you pull that back and do it. I don't particularly do it because I pretend like they don't exist, but Jeff usually comes in and saves the day and does the sunroof, so. All right, guys.
So again, as being a professional detailer, right, it's important to have an eye for these little details, right? It's paying attention to the small details that's going to pay you, right? So really focus on these little things. That's what's gonna separate you from the rest out there from being average, right? Part of our job as a professional detailer is to identify all these little things and then make sure that it's clean and presentable to the client when you're turning over the vehicle to them. If there's things like this that maybe you guys can think of that maybe we missed in this one, drop them in the comments below. If you're getting value from this content, these videos, like I said, we try to keep it real with you guys, bringing it to you from out here on scene in the real world. This is what we do every day. This is what we deal with every day. Doesn't cost you guys anything, but drop us a like, drop us a sub, and that helps us to keep providing free content for you guys out there. We'll see you in the next one.